A decorated Marine veteran stands in the middle of a crowded airport terminal, his face red with fury, bellowing at a young woman in uniform. "This is unacceptable! Call your superior, now!" The entire gate area falls silent. Every eye turns to watch. The woman meets his gaze calmly, her voice steady and clear. "Sir, I'm already here." What happened next taught everyone watching a lesson they'd never forget. What city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe and follow for more stories about extraordinary people. It was a Tuesday morning at Denver International Airport, and Gate B47 was packed with travelers trying to get home. Flight 2847 to Chicago had been delayed 3 hours due to mechanical issues, and tensions were running high. Captain Sarah Mitchell, a 34-year-old airline pilot with 12 years of experience, had just finished her pre-flight inspection when she decided to make a personal appearance at the gate. Still in her crisp pilot's uniform, complete with the 4 golden stripes on her shoulders that marked her rank, she wanted to address the frustrated passengers herself. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, her voice professional but warm, "I'm Captain Mitchell, and I'll be flying you to Chicago today. I know you've been waiting, and I sincerely apologize for the delay. Our maintenance team discovered an issue with one of our hydraulic systems, and we refused to sign off on the aircraft until it was completely resolved. Your safety is always our top priority." Most passengers nodded in understanding, but one man sitting in the third row of the waiting area stood up abruptly. He was in his late 50s with a military buzz cut going gray at the temples. His posture screamed former service member. "3 hours," he shouted, cutting through the murmur of the crowd. "3 hours we've been sitting here, and now you decide to show your face?" Sarah turned to face him directly, maintaining her composure. "Sir, I understand your frustration. I've been working with our maintenance team to ensure this aircraft is completely safe for flight. I don't care about your excuses," he continued, his voice growing louder. "I was a Marine for 22 years. I know what real leadership looks like, and this isn't it. A real leader would have kept us informed. A real leader would have had this sorted out hours ago." He took a step closer, his chest puffed out. "Where's your supervisor? I want to speak to whoever's actually in charge here, not some gate attendant in a costume." The insult hung in the air. Several passengers gasped. Sarah felt the familiar sting of assumption, the one she'd felt countless times throughout her career. People saw her young face, her gender, and refused to see her 4 stripes. They refused to see the thousands of hours she'd logged in the cockpit, the emergency landings she'd executed flawlessly, the lives she'd kept safe. But Sarah had learned long ago that anger served no purpose at 30,000 feet, and it served no purpose here either. "Sir," she said quietly, drawing the attention of everyone in the gate area, "I am the supervisor. I'm the captain of this aircraft. Those 4 stripes on my shoulders mean I'm the highest-ranking crew member on this flight. I'm already here." The man's face flickered with confusion, then denial. You're the pilot?" "Yes, sir. I've been a commercial airline captain for 6 years. Before that, I flew for regional carriers. And before that, I was actually in the Air Force, where I flew C-130 transport missions, including 3 deployments to Afghanistan." The revelation hit him like a physical blow. His mouth opened, then closed. The anger in his eyes began to mix with something else. Shame. But Sarah wasn't finished. She took a step forward, her voice still calm, but carrying a weight that commanded absolute attention. "I respect your service, sir. I truly do. 22 years as a Marine is honorable and commendable. But right now, I need you to understand something. Every person on my crew, from the newest flight attendant to my first officer, has been hand-selected because they're excellent at their jobs. When I tell you we've been working to fix this aircraft, I mean I've personally been in communication with our maintenance chief, reviewing documentation, and making the final call on airworthiness." She gestured to the window, where the aircraft sat at the gate. That plane represents 150 lives I'm responsible for, your life included, and I will never, ever compromise on safety to meet a schedule. Not for you, not for the airline, not for anyone. The terminal was absolutely silent now. The man stood frozen, the color draining from his face. Sarah's expression softened slightly. I delayed this flight because I care about getting you home safely. That's real leadership. Not the kind that yells the loudest or demands the most, but the kind that makes hard decisions and takes responsibility for them. For a long moment, the former Marine just stood there. Then slowly something remarkable happened. His rigid posture relaxed. His eyes, which had been blazing with indignation, now glistened with emotion. "Ma'am," he said, his voice completely transformed, quiet and respectful. "I owe you an apology. A serious one." He took a deep breath, and when he spoke again, his words came from somewhere deeper. "I just buried my daughter 3 days ago. She was 32. Car accident. I've been traveling to help my son-in-law with arrangements, and I just want to get home to my wife. She's fallen apart, and I'm barely holding it together." His voice cracked. "That's no excuse for how I treated you. You didn't deserve that. None of this is your fault, and you're just trying to do your job right. I'm sorry." The entire gate area seemed to collectively hold its breath. Sarah's professional demeanor melted into pure human compassion. She closed the distance between them, and a gesture that surprised everyone, including the man himself. She gently placed her hand on his shoulder. "I'm so deeply sorry for your loss," she said, her own voice thick with emotion. "I cannot imagine what you're going through. Thank you for the apology, but I also understand. Grief does things to us. It comes out in ways we don't expect." She paused, then added, "Give me just a moment." Sarah walked to the gate desk and had a brief conversation with the gate agent. She returned with a printout and handed it to the man. "I've moved you to first class," she said. "It's not much, but you'll have more space, more quiet. And when we land in Chicago, I'll make sure you're the first one off so you can get home to your wife as quickly as possible." The man's eyes filled with tears. He couldn't speak, could only nod gratefully. 20 minutes later, the aircraft was clear for flight. As Sarah walked down the jetway to board, something unexpected happened. The passengers in the gate area began to applaud. It started with a few people, then grew until nearly everyone was clapping. Sarah paused, turned, and gave a small nod of acknowledgement before continuing to the aircraft. The flight to Chicago was smooth and uneventful. When they landed, Sarah made a brief announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chicago. Before we begin deplaning, I want to thank you for your patience today. To the gentleman in seat 2A, there's a gate agent waiting at the door to escort you to your connection. Sir, I wish you and your family peace during this difficult time." As the former Marine deplaned, he stopped in the cockpit doorway. "Captain Mitchell, thank you for everything. You showed me what real strength looks like today. I won't forget it." "Safe travels, sir," Sarah replied with a warm smile. "Take care of yourself and your family." Here's what we can learn from Captain Sarah Mitchell. True authority doesn't demand recognition. It earns it through competence, compassion, and integrity. Sarah could have responded to that Marine with anger or defensiveness. Instead, she responded with grace and turned a moment of conflict into a moment of profound human connection. The next time someone underestimates you, remember this story. You don't need to prove yourself through volume or aggression. Your work, your character, and your compassion speak louder than any words ever could. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more uplifting content that reminds us of the good in humanity. What's a time someone underestimated you? Share your story in the comments below. Until next time, take care of your soul.